This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Right now, an investigation is underway at Hazelwood Central High School. Police say 2 students were caught having sex in a classroom. Other students and a teacher were in the room while it happened. Thank you for being with us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. The 2 students who were having sex are now expected to face charges. 5 on your side's Jacina Coronel has been reporting on this story all day. She is here in the studio with the latest.
The St. Louis County Police say their officers responded to the school at 9:30 yesterday morning. Police were told an 18-year-old girl and 17-year-old boy were caught having sex in a classroom. Now, police did not make any arrest at the time, but they asked prosecutors to charge the 18-year-old with first-degree sexual misconduct, and they referred the 17-year-old boy to St. Louis County Family Court on the same charges. An even bigger problem, videos were taken and the images are now circulating among the students and on social media. I sat down with the Child Advocacy Center earlier today, and they say these images are public and permanent, and there is a range of felony charges people could face for taking the videos or distributing them. Meanwhile, I also got reaction from a mom whose 2 children go to Hazelwood Central, and she said she was shocked to hear the news.
Other than social media, as a parent, I haven't gotten any type of official release from the school. Hazelwood should have said something to us as a parent to let us know there was a situation. To me, this was just as big as if there was a physical threat.
Now, we also reached out to the Hazelwood School District several times. We wanted to know how a teacher could allow this to happen. The school told us they do not have a comment.
The St. Louis Board of Aldermen met today, but despite a growing camp outside of City Hall, addressing homelessness was not on the agenda.
But that doesn't mean they're ignoring an issue that continues to grow. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki joins us live downtown to explain.
Well, and Kelly, there are roughly 1,500 unhoused people in the city of St. Louis at any given time. I spoke with multiple members of the Board of Aldermen today, and they were honest about the fact that until they take action, we're going to see more large-scale camps across the city. According to the Board of Aldermen President Megan Green, the city is facing a huge shortage of both shelters and beds, and they can't fix the issue due to existing zoning requirements. While city leaders have discussed possible legislation that would provide long-term fixes, nothing has been brought before the Board of Aldermen for a vote. Until that happens, Sharice Anita Jackson says she's going to stay outside of City Hall to make sure her message is heard loud and clear.
I didn't choose to be out here. It was because of basically liars and thieves, and the biggest crooks are the politicians. The money. It's not being used for what it should be.
There has been some discussion amongst the Board of Aldermen about legislation that would provide a homeless bill of rights, but it's not expected to be introduced until at least sometime next week. Until that time, the city is looking at short-term solutions of continuing to rely on shelters and medical providers for help. Reporting live in downtown St. Louis, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
Tonight, United Auto Workers expanded its strike. Union workers are walking off the job at 2 more plants in Chicago and Lansing, Michigan. Now workers are striking at dozens of plants across the country, including Wentzville. CNN's Laura Aguirre has more on negotiations.
We are fed up with corporate greed.
The United Auto Workers Union president greenlighting another wave of walkouts Friday.
I'm calling on an additional 7,000 members across Ford and GM to go on strike.
The expansion impacts a Ford assembly plant in Chicago and a GM factory in Lansing, Michigan.
Ford and GM have refused to make meaningful progress at the table.
Ford's CEO responded to that claim in an online media call.
The deal we offered would put our UAW workers among the best paid hourly manufacturing jobs in the world and in the top 30% of all full-time workers in America of any industry. And the benefits are absolutely top tier, as you can see.
Stellantis, which owns Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, was spared in this round.
Stellantis made significant progress on the 2009 cost of living allowance, the right not to cross a picket line, as well as the right to strike over product commitments and plant closures and outsourcing moratoriums.
But progress is not a done deal, and overall divisions remain over key issues like wage increases, pension plans, cost of living raises, and forced overtime.
We all got families, bills. We just trying to survive. We just trying to make it.
I'm still very hopeful that we can reach a deal that reflects the incredible sacrifices and contributions our members have made over the last decade.
I'm Laura Aguirre for 5 on Your Side.
Are still on the picket line at the GM plant in Wentzville. Today we talked to a former UAW president about negotiations with automakers.
Help but think that Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors are all having their own backroom conversations about what they can do to resolve these issues.
GM says it is waiting on a counteroffer from the union. Ford says it's very close to a deal with the UAW, but the two sides are stuck on contract terms at electric vehicle battery facilities.
We're now a little over 24 hours until a potential government shutdown. The Senate is trying to pass a short-term spending bill to keep the government open until November 17th. Today, the House failed to pass its own short-term spending bill to keep the government open another month. 21 conservatives sided with Democrats, voting against it. If there is no agreement by tomorrow night, millions of federal workers and military members will have to go without a paycheck.
Our troops deserve so much better. If the House fails to fulfill its most basic function, it fails to fund government by tomorrow, we'll have failed all our troops. Our service members will keep upholding their oaths, showing up for work, standing sentinel around the world, keeping our country secure, but they won't get paid. It's a disgrace.
The House passed 3 other spending bills, including $300 million in aid for Ukraine. The government shutdown could force all national parks to close, and that includes the Gateway Arch in downtown St. Louis. 5 on Your Side's Travis Cummings reports from the Arch with more on the impact of a potential shutdown.
Right now, the Arch grounds are swarming with tourists, but if the government shuts down, it'll be a different sight. Many people head to the Arch to take a look inside to either check out the museum or take the tram ride to the top. If there's a lapse in annual government appropriations, none of that would be possible as operations will cease. The Department of the Interior put out a notice saying that'll be the case across the country with interior spaces. On the exterior, parks will not provide regular road or train condition updates either. The NPS will continue measures to protect life and property. We talked to visitors lucky to get a glimpse of the national treasure before anything happens.
Especially for people that made plans to come on a certain day and then they're not going to be able to go into the parks and stuff. It's just really sad that the government can come up with a solution.
Yeah, considering we've just driven 18 hours, had it been shut down, it'd be really hard.
The last government shutdown in December 2018 lasted 35 days and was the longest in 4 decades. Reporting in downtown St. Louis, Travis Cummings, 5 on Your Side.